All right, today we celebrate you, the graduates. You successfully balanced your work lives, your lives at home, and completed a program that began, for most of you, 10 months ago. I'm hearing feedback. Is there a little echo there? So it began a little more than 10 months ago. And it required, in addition to the commitments of work and home, it required about 240 hours of work.
Oh, I thought that was public. No, it wasn't that.
It's not that?
No.
Maybe I'm too close.
Maybe give me the other one. Maybe it's the other one.
All right. Is this better? Okay. All right. For many of you, you are familiar with, for those of you who are here in support of the graduates, many of you are familiar with the format of the program. The Certified Public Manager program is nationally accredited, and it's designed to develop competencies, the competencies of personal and organizational integrity, managing work, leading people, self-development, system integration, a public service focus, and change leadership. But the program also is designed to task the participants it's designed not to just give you cookie cutter solutions, but also to task you with becoming more task you with considering various perspectives on how to become more effective in your roles, in your various roles. So with that as an introduction, allow me to introduce the Dean of the College of Public Service and Community Solutions, Dean Jonathan Capel.
Good afternoon. So you're all dedicated public servants. One manifestation of that is that you're willing to wear a tie when it's 110 degrees. I guess I couldn't bring myself to go that far. I'm very public spirited though otherwise. I want to welcome you. This is terrific to see such a big crowd here. The College of Public Service and Community Solutions is ASU's sort of community-driven unit. So as many of you may know, we are a college that hosts a variety of schools, programs, and centers that are all about making communities stronger. So that includes the School of Public Affairs, which the Ramsey Executive Ed program is most directly associated with, where our public policy, our public administration programs are. And in all of our schools, we have undergraduates, we have master's students, we have doctoral students. We also have a School of Social Work, a School of Criminology and Criminal Justice, a School of Community Resources and Development. What these schools have in common is that they are all about preparing people to serve the community, preparing people to find solutions to the most difficult problems that we face, and ultimately to create public goods. What's exciting about this program is that it shows that education doesn't stop when you get your bachelor's degree, it doesn't stop when you get your master's degree. It's a lifelong process. And the challenges that you all are taking on, whether they're in environmental management or public safety, whatever field you're working in, those challenges evolve, and the techniques available to you as public servants to solve those challenges evolve. And so you've made a commitment as public servants not only to try and serve the public interest, but also to constantly improve yourself so that you are in the best position possible to serve our communities, our neighbors, our friends, our families. So the first thing I want to do is express my appreciation to all of you for choosing pathways of service. I have a great deal of admiration for that, and particularly on top of that, to be so dedicated to that goal that you're willing to continue your education through the Ramsey Executive Education Program and earn a CPM. So I want to join all of us in congratulating you on the choices you have made, and it really is an important part of our college that we don't view the end of our mission when somebody walks across the stage at a graduation with their bachelor's or their master's degree. It's a continual process. I did want to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about public service, and Hector sort of knew I would do this because I can't help myself. Public service and public administration are kind of in the news these days. And I'm going to go out there a little bit to talk about the controversy around immigration and around the border, because I think it's strange to not talk a little bit about it, given that we're gathered here today celebrating public management. Here's the thing that's been going through my head, and I will try not to editorialize and try to make a statement that I think is neutral with respect to how you feel about various policy issues, but I think it's important. Hector made reference to the idea that part of the CPM program is about integrity. And part of the CPM program, in addition to giving you technical skills to run programs efficiently and effectively, that part of it is to give you the opportunity to reflect upon the values that you bring to the work that you do. And I've been thinking a lot about this as I've been watching the conversation and listening to the conversation, and quite frankly very moved by the pain of those people who are suffering right now, and those who think that this is the right thing to do, and their frustration at the discourse. I've been thinking a great deal about what you as public servants have to go through in the decision-making calculus. This is not a light topic. The question really is one of the boundaries of your professional responsibility and your ethical responsibility, and where one ends and where the other begins. Because, quite frankly, all of you are holders of a sacred trust, this power that the public has endowed you with. And the question that most public servants face in one way, shape, or form is, when do you impose your own ethical reasoning on top of, or even in contravention of, your professional obligation? And we often look at other societies and other historical moments and say, well, I would never have followed that order. Or I would never have participated in something which I view to be an unethical system or an unethical situation. I would have exercised my judgment and not gone along. I think we've all seen historical episodes where we like to think we would have been the objector, right? We would have been the one to say, I can't be part of this. I certainly have thought that. But how many of us have actually been in the situation where we've been forced to make that decision? Where we've been forced to choose between our own professional situation, our own status, perhaps even our own freedom, right? Because we could subject ourselves to criminal prosecution ourselves if we violate the law as expressed by the policies chosen by the people who lead our organization or our direct supervisor. How many of us have faced that situation? Probably not that many. I don't know if there are people here who can raise their hands and say yes. So one gentleman who has. Another gentleman who has. That is a very challenging notion. I've been forced to make ethically difficult situations that have come at some personal cost, but I've often wondered what I would do when faced with this. We now live in a moment, and again, people can have different views of what is right or wrong, but we now live in a moment where your colleagues, indeed many of you probably have personal relationships with those who are in these situations right now, are faced with these questions on a daily basis. And so my hope, and I'm not going to give the answer, and it's really inappropriate for me to use this platform to tell you what I think ought to be done. But my hope is that we don't lose sight of just how important the responsibility you wield is, and just how much we rely, collectively, we rely upon you to exercise that moral judgment. And people often say, well, I don't understand what is this business about public service? What makes public service different or special? These people are all getting paid. There's nothing different about public service. That's the job. They chose a job just like anybody else chose a job, and they like the benefits and the job security. That's why it's public service. It's no different. Maybe. I don't think so. I think it's different precisely because of this public trust that you wield, and precisely because the ethical decisions that you either have been, are being, or will be confronted with are of a different character because of the responsibility that you have. So I realize I'm preaching to the choir when I tell you that I view the jobs that you have chosen and the paths that you have chosen as highly honorable and highly important, but they are particularly burdensome, and they're particularly burdensome at this moment in time. So I first of all want to recognize that, because I don't think we do recognize it enough. I've said to other audiences that it is a tragedy that the most common time when we recognize the sacrifice of public servants is when something horrible happens to a public servant. Right? That is generally when we recognize public service. When a law enforcement official loses her life or his life in the line of service, when some unspeakable bad deed is done, then we say, oh, well, public servants are great. When a teacher sacrifices himself or herself for his or her students in some horrible shooting, then we recognize it. We ought to recognize it more often. But what we ought to recognize more than just the sacrifice of life, the sacrifice of income, what we ought to recognize is the sacrifice of putting yourself where the burden of decision-making regarding these ethical dilemmas is constantly present. So I, first of all, want to recognize that, and thank you for putting yourself in that position. And it happens more often than I think people realize, as the show of hands suggested. It's out there. But more than that, I want to wish you strength and give you my heartfelt hope that the power of those of us who believe in the importance of you exercising your ethical judgment is felt, and that it strengthens you and ennobles you when you find yourself in that position. And I'm not presupposing what that answer means, but I want you to feel the power that comes from the fact that millions upon millions of people do want you to exercise that judgment, and the historical judgment that we make about others is an important reminder of just how common that yearning is for strong ethical leadership. And so put that aside, the technical skills that Hector already mentioned, I think that that's vital. I believe in the vitality of our country being rooted in the quality of public administration that we have in the United States, particularly given this gathering, the quality of public administration we have in Arizona. And the tragedy is that we take it for granted, right? We accept the fact that you turn the faucet and the water comes out, that you flip the switch and the lights come on, that the roads are paved, that we can get to and from, that we're basically safe in our homes, in our commutes, in our community. We take all of that for granted in this country and don't appreciate what strong public administration, public management has done for us as a country. We overlook it, and hopefully we will never someday rue that we took it for granted. But we wouldn't have that were it not for all of you, and we wouldn't have that were it not for your commitment to keep yearning and succeeding at improving yourselves and applying yourselves and taking advantage of the instructors that are part of this program and the other educational programs that you've been a part of. So that was a little too heavy, I realize, for a graduation celebration, but it seems appropriate for what we are experiencing on a daily basis. And I wanted to give my word of encouragement for all of you to use your extraordinary abilities to advance our neighborhood, our towns, our cities, our communities, our country, and indeed the globe. Congratulations, and I look forward to shaking your hands as we now move on to the, not yet? Oh, we have the speeches part.
Yes.
As we move on to the speeches from your chosen speakers, and then we do the congratulatory photos. And the last thing I'll say is, for those of you who are here to honor your team members who are graduating today, I particularly appreciate that. Because it really is a testament to your philosophy of leadership and management that you not only encourage your staff members to pursue this, but you're here to celebrate their achievement and embrace it. So thank you to all of the guests who are here with their...
Yeah. So I'm sure most of us have been at a presentation where we have thought, they don't match the PowerPoints, right? So I'll apologize because I realize that on the programs you have a specific sequence, and what you've been observing doesn't match the sequence on the programs. So on behalf of the director of the School of Public Affairs, I want to apologize. He was unable to be here because of a family emergency. And also want to apologize on behalf of Mr. Bob Ramsey. He too was unable to be here today. He was feeling ill. The rest of the program, I swear, we're sticking to it. All right. So as most of you know, we deliver the Certified Public Manager program in both a classroom format and an online format. Both formats, it takes about 10 months, 25 weeks of actual class time. And each format is asked to select a representative to come and speak to the audience today on its behalf. So on behalf of the classroom format, I want to call upon to the podium Mr. Mario Diaz from the Arizona Department of Corrections to say a few words.
So not to worry, Hector, we're public servants, and so change is in our DNA, so we're always ready to go, all right? So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our celebration of the completion of the Certified Public Manager course. To all of my classmates, friends, families, co-workers, and executive teams that took the time to be here with us today, we greatly appreciate it, and we thank you for that. And the support over the last 25 weeks that started back in August 22nd of 2017. We also want to thank all of the ASU faculty for getting us through this endeavor. We are honored to be part of the alumni of the Certified Public Manager certificate holders. By nomination and votes, I was elected to speak for our class here today. I'm not sure if I should be honored to be speaking or if this was a calculated payback. No worries. Everyone in the class learned very quickly that there are no snitches in prison. So I will never know. Not sure how they learned that verbiage. Could be that the Arizona Department of Corrections dominated this class, despite of whatever argument Maricopa County wants to put up. But I will say no one received any stitches, but Sally did opt for some staples, but not for snitching, but because she did take a hard fall and she showed us how tough she really is. So Sally, you can come work in our prisons any day right alongside of us. It is the toughest beat in Arizona, all right? Like many classes before us, we learned quickly that city, county, and state municipalities were well represented. Not knowing each other, we quickly figured out that sugar was going to be an important part of getting through the 11 months. Hector says 10, but I know there was assignment in June, so that's 11 months for us, okay? And so the rules were put into place, and all cell phones that rang during class required that the said owner of cell phone provide donuts the following week. Listen, this was day one, 3 hours into our class. Now, if that's not true leadership, I don't know what is. Hector could have saved us a lot of money and a lot of time by just issuing the certificates then. But we knew that that probably wasn't going to happen because we just solved all the public sector problems. So to the grindstone we went. Learning about marketing and rebranding with silver and black gray paint from our state troopers, but no free get out of jail cards came with that education. We became bridge builders. Although made out of Legos, I will say the engineers in the class were quick to inspect our work, and our construction manager, along with our chief inspector, wanted to see all of our permits. Our tax manager was pulling his hair out, and our budget manager shut down the project, asking us where the money would come from. Now, if that sounds complicated, that big fountain way on the east of town that puts water in the air, well, he didn't care how the bridge was going to be built. He just knew that his economic development plan was falling apart. Sound familiar? Yeah, every Tuesday was like being at work every day. Conflict negotiations. If we feared this sector of the class, we truly had nothing to worry about. What we learned was just turn it over to the large number of court employees that were representing our class. Problem solved, right? Well, as we continue to move forward, we also became experts in wastewater treatment, although it be in Flagstaff. And you can sure bet with this subject, that puts stressors on all of us. But yet again, we had a plan. All of our folks from DES provided us with all the resources we needed. And with a few counseling sessions, we were ready to move on. By now, we were ready for a field trip. Okay? And although it was not a physical trip, our folks from Pinal County took us there often in class and tried to convince us that Florence is this great metropolis and the Blue Mist is a great staycation resort. But sorry, we weren't buying that. But we do love our prison town. For many of us, this location has provided us with a great quality of life. Cause and effect. We're a big class. At least that's what every facilitator came in and said, and I quote you, "Wow, you guys are a big class." And because we were such a big class, and cause and effect, the problem solving was a no-brainer for us. We had Game and Fish. He pulled out a large fish, filleted it right in front of us, down to the bone, threw it up on a whiteboard and said, "Let's fishbone it." That's how we roll at the Game and Fish. Who would have ever known? Despite some of us trying to befriend him, we still... Yeah, I didn't mean it, Dan. Sorry.
It's that fishbone.
That was a fishbone, right? Yeah. So anyway, back to Game and Fish. Some of us tried to befriend him. We still didn't get drawn for an elk tag. So no quid pro quo going on over at the old Game and Fish. We figured that one out. No operation would be complete without a compliance coordinator. And yes, our class had one of those, and she kept us in line. And if we stepped out of line or those boundaries, MCSO was always watching over us with his arms crossed and ready to have us occupy more space in his jail. And us over at the Arizona Department of Corrections, we will let him have that monopoly because we will meet our goal of reducing recidivism in our prisons by 25% in the next 10 years. At this point, we were winding down. Our journey was coming to an end. And not before displaying all of our new learned behaviors and traits. It was River City time. Some made-up city that we had to go in and fix. And because yet again we were such a big class, they split us into two groups. We were also told to make sure and bring our laptops and tablets, but phones were prohibited, all right? Not sure, but I think some of our classmates needed IT assistance. No need in bothering that department from ASU. We had our own. One group, from my understanding, just fired everyone in the city and numerous recalls. Sounded to me like that group was in dire need of emergency services, so we had that covered as well. Our emergency services coordinator tried to help them out. You can sure bet after this exercise, there were plenty of fires to be put out. We had our deputy fire chief that was quick to handle that for us, and you know everybody loves firefighters, right? So we continued to move on, and you would think after that, something in the building needed to be fixed, but the facilities at ASU were so well maintained that our facility services representatives from the small town ending in Creek somewhere had nothing to do. All in all, we had a fantastic group, and we learned many things from each other. And the networking partnerships that were fostered are far more valuable than we'll ever learn in a textbook. I'm going to close now because I'm going to bring up Gayla Finn. This wasn't part of the program, Hector, but since we don't have other speakers, we have time. And she is going to do a small recognition and present. I've been very fortunate in the past 27 years of service to have been surrounded by two awesome leaders, and they are my best friends. One being my wife, and one who's also in corrections and is a regional operations director, and the other one being my brother, who's a chief master sergeant in the United States Air Force. We bounce things off of each other, and that always helps. I leave all of you with this in everything you do, in your personal life and in your career. On one of my brother's deployments, after he got home from Afghanistan, we sat down and we visited and we bounced things off of each other like we do, and he said to me, he says, "Make it count. Make every day count." So I leave you with this: make it count, courage. Continue to have courage in everything you do and everything we do. We work for the public. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have courage, because we're not doing it for the money. Opportunity, be opportunistic. Take those opportunities for you and your staff and make those opportunities happen. Be unstoppable. If you can't get it done, go around it, go over it, or go through it. And a lot of us do that and continue to do that. And along with that is never quit. Don't be a quitter. Things get hard, we know that. Find a way to do it. Keep it going. And as it pertains to being a servant leader, remember about team. Remember that without a team, nothing happens. Be a good shepherd. Take care of your flock. We all really didn't need a lot of that in my class that I could see, because I think we all clicked very well. And we learned a lot from each other. So just remember, we are nobody without our teams. We cannot be good leaders without our teams. So I want to say thank you, and to my classmates, I do appreciate you allowing me to come up here and speak on your behalf. It's been an honor, and it's been an honor spending 25 weeks with you guys. So with that, Kayla, you're up.
I'd like to call Sally up. Sally, if you could approach the podium. Like they said, this was a large class, and it was kind of rather an obnoxious class. And so on behalf of mainly Mario, he was the biggest troublemaker, as that's why he got elected, we all know. But Sally, you put up with a lot from this class, and we just wanted to do something to appreciate all you did for us. We thank you for always being on our behinds about getting our work in, making sure we knew where we were going, and she just took care of us, and it was a great experience because of Sally, and we appreciate you. So I'd like to present you with this plaque, just stating our appreciation, and we have a couple other parting gifts. And again, thank you, Sally.
Thank you. Oh, boy. I don't know about rambunctious or whether you were just totally engaged, but whatever it was contagious, and it was a great group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mario. Next, I'd like to call upon the representative of the online class, Brian Hughes from the town of Florence.
I just want to start off with town of Florence is amazing, and I'm not going to say anything about the Blue Mist Motel, though. So good afternoon. One thing I've learned today so far is that the online course is a little bit different than the classroom course, but both are probably equally rewarding. So it's an honor to be here to speak to you today as part of the Certified Public Manager graduation ceremony. It's been a long 10, almost 11 months, right? It's like 11 months. So Franklin D. Roosevelt, our 32nd President of the United States, was coaching his son James as he prepared to give a speech. And he said, be sincere, be brief, be seated. So that's my goal today. I had the opportunity to get together with my father this Sunday on Father's Day. And it reminded me of a conversation that we had a long time ago when I was in college, when I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I told him after trying a few other majors that I wanted to get a degree in Parks and Recreation. And his response was, what are you going to do with that? Blow up basketballs? I told him, no, Dad, I think there's just a little bit more to it than that. And there is. I ended up getting my bachelor's degree from Eastern Illinois University in Recreation Administration, and I moved out west right afterwards. Fast forward just a few years, I was working at the town of Fountain Hills as a recreation coordinator, overseeing youth and adult sports. My dad calls to check in on me. What are you doing? I was hesitant with my response, and you can imagine why. I was blowing up basketballs. So as I thought about that over the weekend, I realized that we all have our own story about how we ended up in our careers and how we ended up here today. And it's a different journey for each one of us. I chose to take part in the Certified Public Manager program so I could become a more effective manager and a better leader for our Community Services Department at the town of Florence. But like many of you, least in the online class, I couldn't commit to get into a classroom every day or every week. So I was excited when there was an online option, because taking part in the Certified Manager program was kind of a goal of mine for quite some time. And so that eliminated the obstacles, but it also had an advantage that maybe is a little different than the classroom setting. And that is that we got to interact with professionals from all across the valley, the state, even the country, and I believe there were some from across the world at military installations in Europe and other places. So that was very, very interesting. I enjoyed learning about everybody's different backgrounds, your experiences, your different professions within the government, whether it's law enforcement, firefighting, finance. I think I was the only Parks and Recreation person. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed very much listening to everybody's posts online. And when I say posts, for those of you in the classroom, it's a lot like social media, and there's hundreds and hundreds of posts on the discussion board. And you have to read through those. And one of the things, you need to comment frequently and let people know that you're out there. And like I said, I enjoyed reading all those posts, but at times there was times when I just really wish there was a like button, right? And because there were so many good posts that you can't really respond to everything, but I really wanted to like them. And even sometimes I wanted some emojis, because some of these posts were just amazing. I wanted to wow and let you know that what you guys were saying was right on track. And it made me think in a lot of cases. So for the online class, at least for myself, it was very rewarding. And it was an opportunity to interact with folks that I couldn't see every day and that I probably would never have met in a classroom setting. So that was very exciting. So what now? After today, we're all certified public managers. For many of us, we'll use that to improve in our positions in our respective departments. For others, it may provide an opportunity to grow within your organization. And for just some others, it may provide an opportunity outside your organization. And that's great. Whatever the opportunity, I just want everybody to know that you're well prepared to be a great manager and a great leader because of what you've learned in this program. I know it's made me better. And know that you have a network of individuals, and I would say this to the online and even the classroom setting, that you can reach out to at any time. I know I've made some friends via email, and I know that I can reach out to them at any time if I have a question about their respective areas. And so I want to tell you, you've earned those 3 letters that you're going to be able to add to after your name, on your email, on your business cards. And that'll let other professionals know of your commitment to public service. So you should be proud of that accomplishment. In closing, I just want to thank everybody at Bob Ramsey Executive Education, Arizona State University, for making the program possible. I'd like to thank Dr. Sheila Murphy for sharing her wisdom, providing her guidance, and valuable feedback. I'd also like to thank Shannon Zweig for all she did to keep us on track throughout the year. I'd also like to thank my team at Florence Community Services for their support as I went through the program, and for sometimes being unsuspecting guinea pigs in the projects we were working on. And finally, thank you to the online class for sharing your thoughts, experiences throughout the program to help me grow as a professional. Thank you again, and congratulations, and good luck to you as you continue on your careers as certified public managers.
Thank you, Brian. So now for the presentation of certificates, I'd like to call on the online CPM coordinator, Shannon Zweig, to come read the names. And as she calls on the various organizations, representatives from the organizations, we do ask you to come up to the front and participate in the presentation of certificates.
The first couple, Hector, are not here, just so you're aware. Good afternoon, everyone. Bear with me. Yes, as you can tell from my last name, I may butcher yours. I apologize. I will do my best not to. I practiced a lot in front of the mirror, too. Okay. As Hector mentioned, we do have some online students, so there are some people that are not attending, and we will call their names just so that they get recognized.
They might be watching.
Huh?
They might be watching.
They might be. They could be. Very well be. If not now, later. So from the ADAMH Board of Franklin County, Ohio, was Justin Neal Curtis. From the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System was Lisa Sacedo, but I don't believe she's here. Nope. All right. From the Arizona Department of Corrections, represented by Division Director, Offender of Operations, Carson McWilliams. I have a very long list of you guys. You want to say something?
Well, I would like to, real quick, it'd be hard to follow some of these speeches that have already been given, but I would like to, I certainly am proud of all the graduates from the Department of Corrections, and congratulations to everyone. But this is a program that the department has been involved in since, I believe, 1986. We've graduated around 160 people through this program. So we're very proud of it, very proud of you. Congratulations.
Okay. First up, Mario Diaz. You guys can clap.
We will be taking a photo.
Yeah. Unable to attend, David Driver. Here, Richard Evich. Shannon Haar. Randy Kaufman. Unable to attend, Jorge Martinez. Jason Mess. Laura Pyle. Casey Schwestak. And Kathy Ann Sweet. Perfect. And then the Arizona Department of Economic Security, represented by Assistant Director, Division of Developmental Disabilities, Maureen Casey, Deputy Assistant Director, Division of Developmental Disabilities, Sherry Wentz, and Director Michael Trader. Melinda Foy. Brandy Howard. Benjamin Hoffman. Unable to attend, Jennifer Myler. Carrie Nullner. Barbara Pacone. Christopher Sisson. Deborah White. So from the Arizona Department of Gaming, unable to attend, graduating Kim Jordan. We can clap still. So next up is the Arizona Department of Public Safety, represented by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne Webb and Major Bill Beck. Our graduate is Eric Swanson. From the Arizona Game and Fish Department, represented by Assistant Director of Wildlife Management, Jim DeVos, and Chief of Terrestrial Wildlife Branch, Josh Avery. Excuse me, Avey, no R in there. Our graduate is Daniel Peter Sturla. From the Central Arizona Project, represented by Jennifer Brown, Board Member, Tom McCann, Deputy General Manager, and Philip Rettinger, Manager. Our graduate is Dale Thompson. City of Apache Junction, represented by Matt Busby, Assistant City Manager, Earl Simmers, Information Technology Director. And our graduate would be Karina Puente. It looks like she's not here. So we'll clap for her anyway. City of Chandler, represented by Dawn Lang, Management Services Director. Our graduate is Matthew Dunbar. From the city of East Tawas, Texas, and obviously unable to attend, Brent Behringer. From the city of Flagstaff, unable to attend, James P. Boyer. Timothy Harrington. And Nathan Nalborski. I just didn't want to deal with the heat. From the city of Goodyear, represented by Julie Arndale, city manager, Wynette Reed, deputy city manager. And Fire Chief Paul Louisi and Julie Siermopoulos, emergency manager. All right, our graduate is Tim Wayne. City of Jersey Village, Texas, unable to attend, Charles Forrester. City of La Puente, California, Cheryl Garcia. City of Mesa, represented by Beth Huning, city engineer, and Shahir Safi, deputy engineer. Our graduates are unable to attend, Julie Christoph, and here. And attending, William Warman. City of Peoria, represented by Chief Roy Mentor, Chief of Police. Oh, okay. Do you want me to give your actual name then? Our graduate is Sharon Roberson. From the City of Phoenix, represented by Karen Peters, Deputy City Manager, Chief Jerry Williams, Police Chief, Chief Louis Tovar, Assistant Police Chief, Commander Dennis Oriender. Unable to attend is Kendall Bellevue. Unable to attend, Amy Carlson. Attending, Vanessa Castillo. Unable to attend, Ashley Glidewell. Unable to attend, Amanda Howard. Attending, Amy Kubasik. Unable to attend, Mary Lannon. Attending, Angela Marie Telez. Our graduates from the city of Scottsdale are unable to attend, but they are. Yeah, thank you. Apologies. Our graduates from the city of Scottsdale and unable to attend, Romel Cordova, Brian Reed. Unable to attend from the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, Brian Crawford. From the city of Somerton, represented by Ian McGaughy, City Manager, and Chief Paul Deonda, Fire Chief.
Ian McGaughy couldn't attend. He had a budget meeting he had to go to, last second thing, so. And for those that don't know, Somerton Kokopah Fire is south of Yuma, north of the border. And the two young men that are gonna be receiving their Certified Public Manager certificates today make decisions on a daily basis that are a chief level decision-making process. So I'm very proud that they're taking this step.
Our graduates are Luis Carlos. Javier Hernandez. Thank you. Our graduate from the city of Yuma and unable to attend, Kelly Glover. From Coconino County, our graduate is John Bryce. Unable to attend from Coconino County Public Health District, Denise Burley. Unable to attend from the County of Sonoma, California, Bonnie Madrid. Unable to attend from Fort Campbell, Kentucky in the U.S. Army, Donald Iben. From the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, represented by Tom Liddy. Our graduate is Gayla Finn. For the Maricopa County Justice Courts, represented by Associate Presiding Judge David Osterfield, Administrator Jeff Fine, Deputy Manager Bianca Sanchez. Our graduates are Fernando Castillo, our next graduate is Anna Hagman. AKA Christy. Our next graduate is Ginger Rodas. Our next graduate is Tracy Thomas. It's okay. Okay. And her manager, Judge Annette Huberman. Ah, I got it. Close enough. Thank you. All right, from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Fortunately, I don't have a rep list unless they actually came. Yay! It was green on my list. It was green on my list.
Captain Phil Doherty.
Captain Phil Doherty. All right, our graduate is Calvin King. Thank you. All right, from Pinal County, represented by Greg Standy, County Manager, and Natasha Kennedy, Clerk of the Board. Our graduates are Stephanie Mack, and our next graduate is Amber Lee Taylor. Awesome, thank you. Unable to attend from the United States Army, Redstone Arsenal in Alabama, Eddie Nunn Jr. Self-employed, Christopher Schmidt, unable to attend. Unable to attend, State of Michigan, Department of Insurance and Financial Services, Anthony Flores. From the town of Florence, Brian Hughes. From the town of Fountain Hills, represented by Grady Miller, town manager. Scott Cooper. Thank you. From the town of Oro Valley, represented by Michael Standish, town clerk. Our graduate is Michelle Stein. Thank you. From the town of Queen Creek, represented by Bruce Gardner, assistant town manager. Or not.
Public Works Director filling in for Bruce.
Oh, Public Works Director is filling in for Bruce. Our first graduate is Joe LaFortune. And our next graduate, but unable to attend, is Vincent Morrow. Unable to attend from the town of Wake Forest, North Carolina, Jason Cannon. The town of Wickenburg, represented by Vincent Lorifus, town manager. And our graduate is Stephanie Wojcik. Thank you. And our last few unable to attend, United States Army, IMCOM, Kelly Sandifer. United States Army, Japan, Jose Sanchez. United States Army, Rhineland Flats, Linda Burgo. Washington State Department of Transportation, Washington, Justin Hereford. And last but never least, United States Army, West Point, New York, Catherine Ruggiero. Congratulations, guys, you are CPMs.